Isabel from School and welcome back to my channel where I discuss a variety of topics pertaining to film, television, and entertainment. So today I have my friend Chris Ruano here with me to discuss the film La La Land. I know it's kind of old-ish, but he did his comparative study on it for a film class, and I recently rewatched it and watched a couple videos on it, so I just wanted to talk about the film. And well, here we go. Chris, what were your thoughts, initial reactions to the film?
I love the beginning, the entrance, how it starts off in a musical in the ramp over there in the freeway. And we will see as we progress through the movie. Ooh, a lot of beautiful dance numbers, beautiful songs, original songs too, so that makes it even better.
Okay, so yeah, the fact that it's a musical makes it more interesting, more enticing to watch. What did you think about the overall plot and the character developments?
I thought it was very interesting because we don't really see that in movies that often. We really see the real life perspective on uh, dreams are and people try to achieve. And we see how they were just failing at the beginning. We would see how Mia was just auditioning at the beginning of the movie, and then Seb was just doing different performances, trying to reach his dream. So the overall plot of the film, I thought it was great because us as the audience were able to relate to the real struggle of what people really go through in order to achieve their dreams.
So you're kind of saying that it has to do with the overall that you have to go for your dreams. It's the dreaming aspect of the film.
Yes, it's self-reflexive. It's a self-reflexive film. So we would put the director puts us in their place or in a similar position where if we want to reach our dreams, but there's struggles that we have to go through.
It's funny that you mentioned the director because that same director also directed Whiplash.
Yes, I
And
know.
his use of music in both of his
Mm-hmm.
films are phenomenal. Like I'm a big fan of Whiplash. I love that film.
I
And
know.
just seeing I know you know that I talk about it all the time, but like
Mm-hmm.
Whiplash and and La La Land have both, like, they focus on this musical element. In the original one, in Whiplash, he's playing the drums, he's trying to be a jazz musician, and I think the director has a fascination with jazz because then you see in La La Land, the lead actor, Ryan Gosling's character, is fixated on his jazz career.
Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned the director must love jazz because he was actually in a rock band before he started directing.
Oh, really? I did not
Yeah,
know that.
so I watched a few. I was so fascinated by La La Land. I've watched a few of his interviews, and he mentions that before he started directing, him and his friend were in a rock band before it took off. The rock band took off right after they left, but it was worth it because if they wouldn't have gone out of the rock band, then the films like Whiplash and La La Land wouldn't have been possible, and that inspired them. And
Oh,
also, pretty much they both they were roommates in college.
they were
They're always
roommates.
yeah, they're roommates in college, and they were always talking about how well, first of all, La La Land was his big dream accomplishment. That's what he wanted to talk about. He's been planning it since he was in college with his roommate. Whiplash
Okay.
was just pretty much to help him get enough funds to
Yeah, because I remember
get La La
Whiplash was
Land.
originally a short film, and he
Yeah,
used the short film to make the movie, to put his name out there, and then to get, I guess that was La La Land was like the it thing for him.
yeah, that was his dream. That was his goal. It was. He's a very interesting man, and he's very young too, which I found very motivating.
Okay, so let's move into talking about the significance of the film and the message that the film is trying to convey through the mise en scène and through all of those things that the film uses. I found it very curious that when the film first came out, people were saying that it was a film about it was a love letter to LA, which I didn't completely agree with. Like, upon my first viewing of the film, I didn't really like the film. I wasn't a fan of it. I just didn't like the film. But rewatching it has given me a different perspective on it, especially since I'm older than I was when I first saw it. And I really do think that the ending, like the twist ending of the film,
Yeah.
I think it's really reflective of the beginning of the film. It's like the film's like Pulp Fiction is a very circular film. You don't know where it
Hmm.
starts and where it ends. The same thing with this film, where it's it uses themes that in a similar manner, in terms that in the beginning there's a lot of more of the musical sequences and the dance numbers, and they're all in the beginning. That's more of the dream-like type of film it is, and then it ends with a dream-like sequence. And I think it's very interesting how the director uses that in his film.
No, it's interesting that you mentioned that because I don't know if you realize if you watch closely at the beginning of the film, there are several scenes that you see at the very end. Like when they're walking by on the set after Seb picks up Mia, they're walking by and talking, and in the background you're able to see the scene of the last scene. You're able to see the stage, better said, of the last scene where they all walk by. It's the big Hollywood inspired stage, right? Like the old Hollywood, where you see that, and he was implementing, well, from my perspective, I think he was implementing that. He was, as throughout the movie, he was putting different shots of the ending in his
Mm.
in his film. That way, at the when he reached the end, be able to see this big, boom, miraculous
Yeah,
ending.
it all ties it together.
Hmm.
But speaking of, like, not just that, but like the message of the ending, like when I first saw the film, the ending ruined the film for me. I hated the film after the ending. And upon rewatching it,
Hmm.
I realized that the ending is basically telling us that if we want to reach our dreams, there are going to be sacrifices that we have to make. There are things that we're going to have to give up. And sometimes that might end up being a relationship for us. If so, we have to make sacrifices to reach that goal.
Yeah, and you're right. On another interview that I saw with Damien Chazelle, mentions that that was his plan. He wanted to show that in order to reach the dream that you wanted the last goal to accomplish, there are several sacrifices you have to go through. You're able to see how, as you mentioned, the relationship they got together, but they had to separate in order to reach their goal. And at the end, uh, Mia got married with someone else, and said open up his restaurant and his jazz club that he wanted to. So it was he. The message was we can reach our dreams, but there are going to be sacrifices that we have to take. Also, we able to see how Seb uh, takes different part-time jobs and different with music. It's not always what he likes, but it could be classical. And he took a pop, I believe, part-time job where he was playing the piano, electric piano.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah,
intro scene was so funny how they met. And it's funny how the reason why they met was because of their dreams, and they split up because
it's
they're
of their
still trying to
dreams.
follow their dreams. Yeah.
So that's part of a Damien was saying that there's sacrifices they have to go through. And Mia also, what's it called? Emma Stone was also in the same interview where she mentions that yeah, she relates to that character because there were sacrifices she had to make. She didn't go to school. So the sacrifice that she made was not going to school and was being homeschooled, not going to all those events through high school and stuff like that. And she didn't go to college. So that's the sacrifice she made in order to become what she wants to be, which was an actress.
Mm,
So
yeah.
that's pretty much the overall theme.
Message.
Message. There you go.
Yeah. I I remember initially hating the film, not wanting anything to do with it. I remember I had a couple of friends who were like, "Oh my god, I love this film," and I was over here like, "No, like no." Like I'm normally such a big fan of musicals. I know, Chris,
Hmm.
you know
I
that I
love
am
musicals.
obsessed with West Side Story and
Hmm.
Hairspray. My friend Leslie and I singing it in the hallway,
Oh God.
just singing Hairspray songs. Like I love musicals, but this musical was different from the rest because there's always that unrealistic aspect of it. Like
Hmm.
Grease and Hairspray, there's always that fantasy aspect of what is happening in the film, and this film took what happens in films in the old Hollywood, like inserted itself in the, like visually it looks like a old Hollywood film in terms of like all the dance sequences and stuff like that.
That was his
But then
goal.
it
Hmm.
puts you into realism towards the end of the film. Like it shifts from this fantasy thing that we've had in the past and moves to realism. And that's very similar of what's happened in Hollywood like over the years. We've shifted away from the fantastical stories to more realistic stories.
Yeah, that's the self-reflective aspect I mentioned earlier, where we're able to see how it really is the realistic part of the movie, how the musicals were just scenes or yeah scenes that allowed the actors to express themselves. Damien Chazelle mentioned in one of his interviews where the reason why he wanted it to be a musical is because we all express our feelings through music, right? We're in a sad we're sad, we listen to sad music. We're happy, happy music. So he used those uh, music sequences in order to show the realistic aspect and tie it in. And that ending, he pretty much showed how uh, the dreams were accomplished, but not fully. Like the dream of what they wanted,
Yeah.
but not of
Because
what they.
along the way they gained another dream. Like throughout their lives they always had that one dream that they were shooting for, but on their way to get to that dream they had a side dream which was being together.
Yep. Yep.
And if they would have followed that, that wouldn't have taken them away from their initial goal.
Yeah. We're able to see that as much as they tried to, they supported each other, but they couldn't. They didn't have the time to. Didn't have the time to be together with each other.
Yeah. And that contributes to the fact that I just initially I did not like the film. I keep repeating that because
It was a great
I can't
film.
express how much I did not like the film when it first came out.
It was
And the
such
whole
a great
best
film.
picture, I thought that was hilarious. Like it's it was a
No,
whole
it's funny when it first came out. Just listening to you, just talking about it. It was funny.
yeah, I was not a fan, but I did love the meshing of the different aspects of the films, of the variety that it brought to the table in terms of showcasing, like using juxtaposition essentially
Hmm.
in between the two halves of the films. If you split it like right down the middle, one's more like the fantastical aspect of old Hollywood and one is more realistic. How
Which one
people
would you
in
say it's
Hollywood,
realistic?
huh?
Which one would you say it's realistic?
I would say it's realistic in the fact that there are stuff the sacrifice aspect
Hmm.
of the film. Like you're gonna have to make sacrifices. As an aspiring filmmaker myself, I already know that I am gonna have to sacrifice my
Hmm.
time, my ability to like have friends and go partying
Oh,
with
bye.
people. I'm gonna have to make sacrifices and spending
Hmm.
time with people in order to reach my goal. I'm gonna have to sit at my desk and write a bunch of screenplays and do what I need to do and practice my editing skills, my cinematography skills, all that to become the thing that I want to be.
Mm, got you.
And it's like it's not a love letter to LA. It's a love letter to all the people who are aspiring to be a part of that scene, that are aspiring actors, actresses. It's to the dreamers
Or
essentially.
just in general. Doesn't have
Yeah.
to be actors or actresses. They can be just dreamers who want to reach their goal.
Yeah.
Showing them they have to go through sacrifices that they don't want to, but they have to.
Yeah, and I feel like there are a lot of people who get stuck with that. They have a dream, they're aiming for their goal, and then this other side dream comes along, and then they start going for that, and they never reach their full goal, and then they wonder, what if?
Yeah, we're able to see how there were different decisions that they have to do, right?
Yeah.
That split them ways. One had to, as Seb was getting what he wanted, he had to go that way. And Mia saw that he was going that way, and they started to argue a little bit, but they understood that they were both following that goal. So the director was pretty much showing us that we're gonna have conflicts no matter what. That's gonna happen regardless. But we have to choose: are we gonna go with our side goal or our main goal, which was this side? So
Yeah.
I think that was something that that director did a good job on expressing through his film.
Yeah. So this video is going to be almost over 17 minutes. uh
Oh,
yeah. So any last thoughts you want to wrap up?
if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. It's great. It's amazing. You're gonna love it.
Phenomenal. It is
Just
it
the
is a
fact that it's a
great film.
musical. It's just because it's a musical. It's gonna be great.
The tap dancing scene had me. Okay, what you don't know is that Chris and I were going to make a film before the pandemic for our film class, and it was
Hmm.
going to be a musical, and it was inspired by La La Land,
And I was
which,
gonna teach the actors how to tap
which
dance.
is the main reason why we wanted to talk about it. Well, I
Yeah,
wanted to talk about it. Yeah.
me too.
Yeah. Yes, you too, Chris. I know.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching. Make sure to click that subscribe button, comment any things that you want me to talk about next. Also, if you like Chris and you want him to be back, that would be cool.
I'm still learning.
So thank
So,
you so much. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
adios.